national view of the Minnesota Wild, Bill Guerin, like everything that's going on right now. And I know people like Pete Blackburn have, certainly made it known that the Wild have historically been viewed as boring. And the sports books say 22-1 still, even though they're leading the league. What is the view widely outside of Minnesota on Guerin's work and the Wild?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to be impressed with it. I mean, at a certain point, we're beyond the early stages of the season, right? If it's after 2 weeks, you might react about a team, but at that point, there's still a lot more to be proven. Obviously they haven't accomplished anything yet, but it certainly hasn't escaped the notice of the national gaze. I don't think, how strongly Minnesota started, how consistently they've performed. And, they may have been boring once upon a time in the outsider's view, but I think ever since Kaprizov showed up, which obviously is a number of seasons now, they get a little bit more love nationally. I think he gets some attention. He's obviously produced a lot of highlight reel type of plays and things. So, maybe that from the Jacques Lemaire days, it's sort of you earn a reputation and it can be hard to erase it even once you've outgrown it. But I do think the Wild have outgrown it, and they've been really one of the most positive stories of the year so far, because while I wasn't down on the team, I certainly didn't peg this kind of start, and to see them, right up at the top of the standings.
And you look, Chris, other than the fact that I went on paternity leave, which is a big reason why that they're doing well, they don't have a lot of changes to the roster going into the season, right? Like Jacob Lawaka was brought it in. Obviously, they were healthy going into the season with Spurgeon coming back, but there wasn't a lot of wholesale changes. Hines is still the coach that you're in their system, but just can you sense from watching a little bit what been a little bit difference maker in your eyes from afar?
That's a little tougher for me to put a finger on. I will say though, I think it speaks to where the league is in a lot of ways. I mean, it just seems like there's not a huge separation between teams like there once was. And I don't know if that's the sort of obsessive chase of parity league wide that the league wants. It almost pulls everyone more into a middle versus having a lot of teams at the bottom. I mean, we certainly do have a couple teams at the bottom that I'm pretty confident are going to remain there, but for the most part, there's not a huge gap. And so things like health, getting some better goaltending, all those little factors I think can stack up. But, the Wild were, at least before they made the coaching change last November, I mean, they've been a pretty good team for a period of time, I'd say. I mean, I know it was a rough start to last season, and that resulted in the Dean Evason firing, but all things being equal, they've been certainly above average team, or above the middle line. And you're seeing the best of it right now. And it certainly doesn't hurt rather to have some elite performers, even a second year of Brock Faber. I mean, the amount of minutes he can play. I mean, I think those things, small steps in his game, even though, it's the same player, but he's not the exact same because, he's gained more experience and is finding his footing even more in the league. And I think that's helped push the team forward as well.